They got their one win. They may not see another one for the rest of the year. They did not look impressive against Citadel. So I'll give up the 25 points, and I'll take Notre Dame in game 2.
Okay.
And now, the music kicks up a little bit, kicks up a little notch here.
How does it?
Game number 3.
Okay.
The one we've all been waiting for. The one we've been waiting 9 months for, going back to mid-December from the Gasparilla Bowl. You could have had a baby in the time it's been since the last time we've kicked off a football game. UCF minus 7.5 at Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech, we've talked about it already on the show a little bit. Coming off a nice win on the road at Florida State last week. This is a Georgia Tech team that was picked to finish 15th out of 15 ACC teams coming into the season. A little surprising there in week 1. UCF, first game of the season. We talked about it. Is it an advantage to not have played? Is it a disadvantage? I guess we're going to find out. It's possible to come out to a slow start, not having played in so long. If we come out to the typical fast start, we usually do, we roll these guys. If not, I think a lot of it's going to come down to the key of the game. Can we protect Dylan Gabriel? Because the one thing I noticed last week in the Georgia Tech Florida State game, those guys were getting pressure on the quarterback. And if they can have a pass rush like that, we may be in for a little bit more than we can handle. But I just think there's too much speed, too many weapons for UCF. I think we're going to light up the scoreboard in the second half. And UCF pulls away with a 35-17 win. Give up the 7.5. We're going 1-0, baby. First game of the year, UCF over the Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech.
First of all, congrats on the babies for anybody who had one out there. 35 points, Mike. That feels low. I mean, obviously, we had that streak going for a long time there of over 30. 35 seems low.
Well, what was it? 2 weeks ago, we did our season preview and we picked these games. I think I picked us to score like 50 points in this game.
Probably.
I've come back a little bit. I don't know if it's just jitters now, getting closer to the game time. I'm getting a little more nervous. I haven't seen our guys play in a while. Let me say this. We're going to score our typical 30-plus points like we do basically every game for the last 3 years. 35. I'm being a little conservative. You're right. I see this. Okay, let's look at it this way. Josh Heupel has not won a road game against the P5 opponent yet, right?
That's
so
fair.
Last year,
That's fair.
We lost the game in Pittsburgh. The year before that, we did not play a road game because the North Carolina game got canceled. You have to go back to the Maryland game. The last time we beat a P5 team on the road. And that game, the score was similar. I think it was something like 35-17, but we had a couple of scores there at the end to pad our lead. The only reason I picked 35 is because I'm thinking maybe the first quarter we may not be hitting on all cylinders. But if we put up our 21 points in the first quarter, then yeah, I'm back up to my confident 52-point pick. But 35-17, we're still covering that 7.5 point spread. I'm comfortable with that.
Okay, no, you're not wrong. I was surprised you went 35. That just seemed conservative, for where you're at. Again, the challenge is we don't know. We haven't seen any video. How much do you think Hype is using that to his advantage? Like, I think there's this wild sort of thought out there among the fans is that Heupel's just preparing to unleash like this big secret that nobody knows about. I mean, do you hold any credence in that, Mike, or do you think we're going to get, same old bubble screen, bomb pass, bubble screen, run up the middle, bomb pass? Like, do you think it's going to be the same thing? Or is Hype holding something back, you think, and we're going to unleash something new on Saturday?
Well, I mean, does he have something that he wasn't using the first 2 years? The first year with Mackenzie Wilton, you're telling me he was holding back, and he was holding back stuff in the playbook?
Well, the only thing I'll say about that, so that's a great point. My counter to that would be, we heard all about 2018 was the meshing of the two offenses, right? Keeping a lot of the Frost stuff and the Frost terminology, and then obviously incorporating a lot of the Heupel stuff, right? We heard all year long, everybody we've interviewed on this show has told us that the coaches did a good job of really integrating stuff. So I think maybe year one was a little bit of a hybrid. Year two was obviously Dylan Gabriel and being a freshman, and what did he hold back there? So in theory, I think maybe, just maybe, with Golesh, there's something new that we're seeing this year. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the conspiracy theories are wrong. But I think it's really interesting that we have no clue what we're going to get because there's literally nothing coming out of there, which has got to make Heupel just smile like ear to ear right now.
I hope there's at least a few new wrinkles, because if not, we may not see the success that we've been used to. Teams now have 2 years of watching his playbook and figuring out his scheme and maybe his play calling patterns he may fall into, like you're saying, going deep and throwing screens and deep. There's got to be some kind of pattern that exists out there. And if he doesn't change things up a little bit, we may be in for a rude awakening at some point during the season. But there's talk now of letting Dillon Gabriel run loose. I'm noticing on the message boards today that there's talk of there's not going to be any holding him back. There was a lot last year of fans complaining of not letting him run, where that option was not really an option. It was more just a fake handoff. It was more of a play action than anything. Now he's going to have the ability to take off on his own. If he can do that and do it the way Mackenzie Milton did it, good night to everybody else. And yeah, we're going to see 50 points a game every week.
Well, again, Jeff Collins is reputed to be a defensive guy. Obviously he's been around a while. He's seen spread offenses, so we'll see what his defense can conjure up. The defense actually played pretty well for Georgia Tech. Now, again, some of that is FSU, which is god awful. But the defense played okay. So I guess we'll see what Heupel has in store. And you can check back, Mike. Will you tweet back out that poll? I want to say poll tracker every time, because polltracker.com is where you get the top 25 polls and who voted for who. So poll tracker. Tweet that link out again sometime this week so people can hop back in if they want to.
I will do so.
And if you want to follow Mike, check for that tweet. You can follow Mike at UCF Mike 1. And you can get a lot of great Mike content. Coming up next, some of our best content. It's Cow of the Week, Mike. A lot of options this week. With football back, there's so many things we can go to. So we will touch on all of them right after these words.
I'm Jeff Allen. Join me each week for unique yet common sense opinions on sports on the Jeff Allen Sports Talk Podcast. We will break down the sports world minus the hot takes with prominent guests and my stable of sports guys. It's sports conversation the way it should be. Search Jeff Allen Sports Talk wherever you get your podcasts or go to jeffallensportstalk.com.
This is UCF Athletic Director Danny White, and if you don't want to be the Cow of the Week, you need to listen to Adam and Mike on the Sons of UCF. Charge on. Go Knights.
It's cow time. If you're new to the proceedings, I say this, I think, once every couple of months. Cow of the Week is just our homage to our little, neighbors to the west there, the Temple Terrace side of the state there, where the cows play. And these are things that we saw, heard, or just happened that, I don't know, aren't very smart, made us laugh, or kind of idiotic, and maybe some mistakes as well, Mike. A lot of different Cow of the Week options this week. I'll probably end up with like 4 when it's all said and done, but I'll let you start, and you can, rifle off as many as you want, my friend.
All right. Well, like you said, there's a bunch. I'm going to go with just one guy for now. And I had to do a double check when I saw this the other day. The Cows are receiving votes in the AP poll. And now I love this. Is one of my favorite sites.
The AP poll of 2020?
Yeah, exactly. Huh. That's what I was saying. I thought this is not a flashback to 2007 or anything. I was just saying this is one of my favorite sites now. You were just talking about collegepolltracker.com, because all these AP voters, you can see exactly who voted for who and what spot and everything. There's one guy that voted for the Cows. Not only voted for the Cows, put him all the way up at number 20, ahead of teams like BYU, and he's got Appalachian State and Southern SMU behind the Cows. Number 20 for the Cows for beating Citadel by not that impressive of a performance. The Cows, how many games did they win last year? 3?
Yes.
2, 3?
Sure. I think they won 4.
Oh my goodness. They are receiving votes. The guy's name is Aaron McMahon. He's from Ann Arbor, Michigan. I don't know what this guy saw that nobody else saw, He has us at 13, so at least he's got something there. He has us behind North Carolina and Oklahoma State, though, and ahead of Cincinnati. The one thing I'll give this guy, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 American teams in the top 25. So at least he's got that going for him. But I'd rather him just have 4 and leave the Cows out. There's no way you can support this. The Cows receiving a top 25 vote is absurd. And when they get beat by 30 points this week at Notre Dame, at least this guy will come back to reality.
Yeah, 20 is where I scratch my head, right? If you maybe didn't watch a lot of football this weekend and just I don't even understand how you found your way to the Cows game. Even the Cows fans were on Twitter losing their minds because the game prior to that was running over and it was supposed to be an ESPN Plus and it wasn't on ESPN Plus and so they basically missed like the first quarter or some long duration of the game because of course that's what the Cows happened to do. So how you
all 4 of those guys?
All 4 of them. How you even found the game if you're what's his name? Ed McMahon? What was his name?
Ed McMahon, yeah, from Star Search.
Whatever his name was.
Aaron McMahon.
Aaron McMahon. How you even found the game to watch it, to scout it, to go, hey, you know what? These guys look pretty impressive is beyond me. I was trying to think in my head, maybe he thought it was another team. Maybe he thought Miami changed their name and then since they beat UAB, or maybe he thought it was FAU. Maybe he just saw Florida quickly. I don't know how the system works. Do you physically write something in? Do you email something? Do you fill in a bubble? I don't know how. Do you drop down menu? How does this work? Maybe it was a bad click. Let's hope it's a bad click because I don't know how you got to 20. If you want to give the Cows a ranking,
I don't know. That is his one extreme pick, which is a bias towards South Florida. He's ranked them 5 spots above average for 7.
Above humans with weeks. You mean above humans with eyes?
Yeah, I don't understand what this guy is doing. He's from Michigan. Does he have some kind of ties to Jeff Scott? That was my first thinking. Was he like an old Clemson writer? It doesn't seem so. He says he covers the University of Michigan, covers the Detroit Pistons and the Detroit Tigers, and he's a Central Michigan grad. I don't know what other tie he could have there. I'm just reaching for answers here. I don't know what he saw that would validate a number 20 ranking for South Florida. There's nothing there.
Yeah, I think you should stop searching. I think you've spent too much of your precious time trying to figure out what Ed McMahon was thinking. There's a couple of Cow options here, by the way. So a couple of funny things. So one, they released their game notes. I guess it's their game notes a couple days before the game, and they forgot to change the Twitter handle. They still had Charlie Strong's Twitter handle as their coach. So that always helps for the Cows as well. And it's always good to make fun of the Cows, Mike. I've got a few different options. I'll run through a couple quickly. One is actually happening right now. It's a big Cow. Have you ever been a part of a text message group that you just can't get out of?
Yeah, I don't know how you get out of them. There's a way to get out of them, I guess, huh?
Yeah, there's a leave group option. But like, I have a fantasy football league, and like these guys are just like, I'm literally like 36 messages deep here. I haven't responded to one, and this thing just keeps going on and on and on and on. And I want to be like, it's really 3 people talking. Why don't you all just talk amongst yourselves? I don't need to be involved. But there's another one. And so there's that. The other one is that's going to get a lot of attention this week, Mike, is really 2 guys. One is Skip Bayless. As you know, Mike, I'm a Cowboys fan. Did not enjoy that PI call on Sunday night, by the way. And Skip Bayless is a media guy, a bit of a gas bag, kind of says whatever he wants, and I don't know that people take him seriously, but he came out and essentially said, hey, Dak Prescott should not be talking about mental health and getting counseling and anything that shows fragility. And for those who don't know, Dak Prescott's brother committed suicide. He talked about being sort of isolated during the quarantine period and how he wants to go get counseling. And essentially Skip Bayless said, don't do that, you're weak. And I'm paraphrasing, of course. And then he doubled down on it and didn't apologize for it. And he got raked through the coals for that, rightfully so. Look, I applaud anybody who takes a look at themselves in the mirror and goes, hey, I don't like where I'm at right now. I want to get better. If that's with health, fitness, if that's with mental health, if that's with cutting your freaking toenails, I don't really care. But if you have the the balls to stand in front of a mirror and say, hey, I want to get better with who I am. It really shouldn't be the business of anybody else to tell you that you're wrong or to make fun of you for that. So Skip Bayless gets my mini cow. And then my big cow goes to a guy who probably who lives near the cows, oddly enough. And that is one Booger McFarland, Mike. I'm sure you saw this making the rounds